All right. Good morning, everyone. Right now, I have David Giustinelli. I hope I didn't butcher that too bad.
Not
So,
too bad.
David is my entrepreneur friend from Italy that was giving me live updates on what was going on in Italy when CNN was spewing lies. What do you know? So, David, you've owned an energy drink company so far?
Yeah, this is the T-shirt. So you need to explore.
Yes.
So
What
the
else did you
T-shirts.
what else was you involved in?
I was involved in a lot of things. It's 30 years I'm in business with sales and marketing, network marketing. So I've known a lot of people and environment, and I got proposals every day. I had to shut down most of them because I haven't got the time or the chance to do them. Anyway, I've been my career started with a beer, famous beer, Guinness. I've been a Guinness. I managed the pub years before for 3 years. A tenant's pub was a friend's property. As I left, they sold the place.
Okay.
I got and I with in 1988 with my year for Guinness Brewing, I had a course of Irish pub management. So I have both practice and theory. I'm a consultant for pub management. That's one of my revenues I could put on the table right now. And I got experience like in network marketing. Right now, I'm working for a network marketing company, an American company. It's called American Gas and Power.
Okay.
Uh,
Question first. It was Jonathan Faltz that introduced us, wasn't it?
was what?
Wasn't it
Excuse me.
Jonathan Faltz that introduced you and I?
Well, we met by ourselves. We were in the same circles with Matt Burden and Facebook and all that stuff. So then one or the other asked for friendship, and then we got to you know chat to each other and all that stuff.
Yes, that same
But,
circle I was talking about because Matt Borden and
yeah, we were in the same circles. And you wrote to me, funny how we're in the same inner circle.
yeah.
We keep meeting like that, so we should just present to each other.
Well, I think like minds are drawn together.
Yeah,
To be
yeah,
honest with you, so
yeah. Well, the world is a small place after all. Yeah, you could be surprised. It's
no,
not so
definitely
big.
after traveling so much, I could be in a different country and run across somebody I knew,
Oh yeah,
from California. I'd meet in Ukraine, or when I moved to California, met guys I knew from New York or from Florida. You know,
yeah.
so what about this new green energy deal you were telling me about the other day?
Well, this Green Deal is this American Gas and Power who produces light and gas by clean energy, and that's one thing. Most of the companies don't do it, so they keep polluting the planet. And the president, one of the two co-founders, the president, Mr. Tom Cummings, is resident right now in Italy, in Tuscany, in a huge house, with a big garden, a swimming pool. And I think he's going to live here for some years because he chose Italy as main headquarters to then promote to the rest of Europe. So us Italian guys are responsible for sponsorizing in a network marketing system Germany, France, England, Spain, and all the others.
Okay.
It's a tough responsibility. And this is and by this, they're coming out a lot of other things, a lot of other business online, based on finance, based on forex trading and all that stuff. So I'm finding myself like from commerce, traditional commerce of beer, of chemical American products and all that. I spent 11 years with two companies from America. Um, I'm being catapulted, just thrown into a new different world that it's technological world, e-commerce and affiliate marketing, network marketing. Um, Even though I got history with Amway and all that in the 90s, but and it's kind of it's forced. It's a forced road, JL, because with this COVID-19 and being shut down and all, your job has been broken. You can't move. Your clients are closed. They're shut down. So you got to survive in some way. And when you're an entrepreneur, you got to keep on moving. Otherwise, you just burn out. And so you start, going on the internet and finding new things and knowledge, new chances, new possibilities. That's it. That's what I should tell a lot of people. American and Italian people. Okay, they're quite different. I want to tell American people, I'm 56. I'm not 25 or 30. It's 30 years I'm on the road, but don't give up. Don't think about, I'm too old. I can't start over again right now. I don't feel like doing it. I don't have chances. It's not like that. It's bullshit. I mean, anytime you could be 20 and you could die a week after. You could be 90. You could live another 10 or 20 years. You don't know. Now is the moment. Now is the chance you got to take. Now is you got to live every single moment.
Well, I think myself that to Americans, that is kind of has to be spoon fed. Sorry, I live beside Interstate 80. Uh, so long story short, Americans, since I've personally came back into the country, like I'm really shocked. People want everything given to them, and they don't want to go out. They don't want to hunt. You know what I mean? And I think males have lost that hunting instinct. Like my job during the COVID thing, you and I talked about this. It got smashed, and I kept
Yeah,
going and holding my business together because there was no social benefits for me, zero.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
The same, the
and
same.
there was 2 weeks. It was really rough. I got $200 to one week and 120 something the following week. But then
Yeah,
I kept digging, and kept digging until I got a paycheck to put everything back in order in 1 week.
yeah,
But
yeah. But it's like we got a game here. I don't know if it's in US. It's the same. Yeah, I either give you $1 million right now, or I can give you 1 cent, and I multiply it double for every day for a whole month. You know, and as soon as you try this game, you say, oh, 1 cent, 31 days, 2 cents, 4 cents, 8 cents. And, oh my gosh, I did really a big. I mean, I screwed up. I should have accepted the 1 million. But as soon as you get to 31 days, with compound interest, you get 22,700,000 dollars. So this is
isn't that
the
what Moses did in Egypt with the rice?
this is a message. I mean, people don't get the compound interest. Exponential multiplication. At the start, at the beginning, you could be, oh my God, what am I doing? But if you keep on going, you don't give up. Results come, and they come big. You know, uh, as
But you
long
got
as
to put the work in.
you got to put the work in, and that's it. As you said before, you were saying before, people just want, give it to me, give it to me. That's socialism. That is a really
That's a
dangerous,
pizda.
dangerous point of view, man. Because America is no. I remember Zig Ziglar. He said, "We're not the greatest country or the richest country, although we're blessed, with all that. But we are the number one nation in the world, the richest nation, because we are um, a nation of salespeople, entrepreneurs of ourselves. So companies shut down because they don't sell enough. I see a lot of companies here in Italy. I was, driving on the road here near home, and I see all Mercedes and BMW and other companies, just shut down. It's a long time now. Say the reason is because they don't sell enough. Like Grant Cardone once said, you don't sell enough, you shut down your company. You got to learn how to sell. And nobody wants to learn how to sell. Nobody wants to push. But that's the thing you got to do. The cavalry ain't coming, Chris Gardner, you got to do this yourself, man. I had a lot of good mentors there. You can't expect government. I mean, Kiyosaki had a laugh, on Times interview saying,
Did you see his latest video?
Do? Yeah, I saw the video and say, is there anything government can do? He said, ha! Say, look, you got to choose, rich or poor, you choose.
Ronald Reagan said, the scariest words to hear is a knock at the door, and it's the government. We're here to help.
Yeah. We're here to screw you.
Yeah. But Kiyosaki, his last couple of videos he's put out is quite frightening, actually.
Yeah.
And it's not even him trying to sell his products right now. It's him saying, hey, listen, something very bad is happening in our world right now, and you don't understand what it is.
Yeah, but what frightens me most, JL, you know what it is? He's always been right. He was right in 2007, 2008. He was right about the government printing money, trillions and trillions. I mean, dollar lost 98% since 1913.
Fiat currency.
Yeah, currency. It's a fiat currency. It's no money anymore.
No, the problem is with fiat currency, there's nothing to back it. So they're just printing and printing and printing. And what he was saying about, them shutting down, no one's talking about, the markets crashing. And I've seen a couple other people talking about this, like with the COVID thing. Like, it's the perfect storm of all these riots going on worldwide. It's not just in the United States. They're hiding a lot what's going on with.
No, they were hiding. I mean, Kiyosaki, I saw just yesterday night, at 2:00 in the morning. And he said, they're hiding the baddest crash ever happened in history. They're hiding it with the COVID stuff. That's what's behind it. That's why they're how do you say, getting up ahead. They're continuing to talk about COVID or the risks and like the never-ending story. It's because they're hiding a financial crash that includes all the world. And I think China's going to have a tough time. I think Europe is going to really have a tough time. I think Europe is up to an end with the euro currency because
that was a scam to start with. That was a complete scam to start with.
Yeah. It's a scam. It's a scam because you can't mix. I mean, United States, speak the same language, have the same origin, the same culture, the same ideals. And though they have different governors for every state, different laws, but here we have different languages, different histories, different mentalities, and we're playing against each other. So we're not United States doesn't play against each other.
Well, here's the thing with the EU. It's like that little clause they put in where they have the final say over laws in countries. Like, a country cannot be sovereign, really. And the other thing, the only country that has done well with the EU is Germany. It's like financial fascism. I'm sorry, it is. They destroyed Greece. They destroyed Ireland.
It is, but I think it's worldwide effect. The modern, as I call it, modern fascists are the leftists. Liberals in the USA didn't accept Trump's victory, and they used violence, physical violence. I mean, against Trump's supporters' ideas, and that's unacceptable. Unacceptable. And you can't call yourself a liberal. You can't call yourself me for democracy, for freedom. And then you.
Well, they're not real liberals. I mean, the classic liberal, like I got across the street from me.
Yeah.
He wants everyone to live freely and just don't impose on anyone. These guys are like, it's it's a form of fascism.
Well, you know what? I think the base mistake is one, putting labels, political labels on people. We are people. We are human beings. We have, we're unique beings with a brain, a heart, a soul. You can't put a label on people. So let's get rid of leftists, rights, Republicans. We are people. What's the common sense? What do we have to do? We need economy, a good economy. We need civil rights. We need health care. The basic human needs. Everyone needs this basic needs. So putting a label and separating people, that's their game. That's somebody else's game, and you know what I'm talking
Well,
about.
that's called collectivism. And what they're doing is they're collecting people into different groups and then
Yeah.
make
Different
them fight
teams.
each other, because if we're fighting each other, we can't get anything going. Like there's things that we all, let's look at the American variant, Republican and Democrat. And I'm speaking
Yeah.
about the moderates, not the extremes of the two sides. Okay, so we
Yeah.
both believe that healthcare is too expensive. Okay, but the difference is, because one's a Democrat, one's a Republican, we can't sit down and talk with each other because we're automatically calling names. I believe price caps is the best option. Like, you shouldn't be making 1,500% on an EpiPen. By the way, that was a Democrat that did that.
Yeah.
But ironic, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's controversial. And when it's like that, you lose the battle. You lose
But
any.
there's so many things that both sides agree on, but because they're at each other's throat because how they vote, the Democrat or the
Look,
Republican. And that's the other things, like, you have to register as a Democrat or a Republican. So if you don't like the person coming in for your party, you have to register to the other party to vote. That's stupid.
I mean, look, in this months of shutdown, I had a lot of culture making, on videos and economics. I always wondered. We have been taught that we have to pay taxes because otherwise we wouldn't have public services, streets and schools and hospitals. And then, this Italian economist, famous worldwide, he said, no, taxes don't finance public expense. They are made to drain off out of the market too much money. Otherwise, inflation is going up. So, and I said, wait a minute, there's somebody screwing somebody here. I mean, and that's why I wonder why up to 1913 in America, no one paid taxes. Everybody was working, and they had all the services, schools, streets, hospitals, and everything. So I said, how could it be? What's the difference? Difference is they're screwing us since 50 or 60 years ago. Taxes are only to implement their portfolio by politicians and all the others. I believe in this. I don't know.
I think it's been a
Maybe
bit
it's
longer than that, but yeah.
it's a little bit longer than that. But most of all, I think if we could get access to private accounts on Cayman Islands or Seychelles or Switzerland, we would have. I wouldn't be surprised to find, fake names, but it's up all to politicians worldwide because uh, they don't let you dig in. But I know it's like that. That's a story.
Well, I think
Um,
one thing around the world we need to do is, like, let's use US for an example. Senate and Congress needs to have term limits, and I believe that for any parliament around the world. If you have a career politician, even if someone comes in for pure heart, they're going to become corrupt, because rather someone's going to find dirt on you or dirt on a loved one if they can't pay you off.
Yeah, they blackmail you anytime. We all human. We got our skeletons in the closet, as I
And
say.
if you don't, somebody does.
It's not like that. I heard about people get found dead because they said no. So it's a bit more than that, Uh, I think a lot of judges too are corrupted or are threatened or are blackmailed by the system. It's like a web, and you can't get right to where it started. Thing is, uh, politics, I think sometimes it's overrated. It's overrated. We need more humanity, less politics. We have to get to a human economy. Um, here in Italy, about they always tell me, America, you got to have insurance to get health. Well, in Italy, they're joking on you because you say we got public health care, but if you want to survive, you got to pay the private health care
Do you mind if I step in on this?
because it doesn't work. Public doesn't work. It takes a long time. So we got to say the truth. We got to say things how it is.
Well,
Uh,
let me expand on that real quick. As a
yeah,
U.S. citizen that's lived overseas and had permanent residence in a foreign country, I would rather pay for my health care because the health care my son receives in the United States versus what he got in Ukraine, which is a
yeah,
socialist health care.
yeah, yeah.
That's a nightmare. They almost killed David when he had pneumonia. Okay, and
Mm,
then their public doctors are so bad. I was paying cash for um, basically doctors for only wealthy people in Ukraine. So it's so funny because I take Dave into a doctor's office in the United States because I paid for the wealthy one. Um, Majorny Vrach, rich doctor. And Dave is like, "Where's the toys? Why does this place look so poor?" But he's noticed he gets better health care here.
yeah.
Why? Because we pay for things, and yes, it's more expensive, and we need price caps on some of this stuff. Paying $100 for a bag of IV, it costs between $1 and $5, or paying $45 for a box of Kleenexes they brought to your room. That's
Mhm.
stupid. But I would rather have a capitalist healthcare system than have a socialist one any day. Difference is when you need to go to the doctor, you go to the doctor. Maybe your doctor has a little bit of a waiting list, like you have to wait a couple days, but you've got the option, go to a different doctor.
Yeah, yeah,
Obama kind of hindered that a little bit with the Obamacare, but
yeah.
in a country like yours, a country like Canada, a country like the UK, a country like Ukraine, you go when they say you go. And you know that. I mean, trying to get screened for cancer.
Yeah, I mean, I talked with people who had cancer, serious cancer, brain cancer. Say if I was not a rich person, I'd be dead. Because there are cruise to make, and they're long, and maybe 6 months, a year. It's come on, it can't be like that. I mean, here right now we got 40% public, 60% private. But I'm paying. If I have to make some examine, tests and all that, I gotta pay them.
Now,
Maybe if
is
my wife
Italy
is a
like
nurse, I pay less, but I pay money. It's not for free.
Canada, the UK, where if you need to go see a specialist, you have to have your doctor write you out a note, and if your doctor is not willing to write
Yeah,
you out a
yeah,
note,
yeah,
you can't go
yeah,
see a
yeah. It's like that.
specialist.
Yeah, it's like that. You gotta make. It's a two-way street, and but then again, some things they pass it to you, but important stuff, especially urgent stuff, you got to pay for it. Is it you need it fast, you got to pay for it. So maybe you pay with a little discount, but you pay for it. So it's I mean it's fake. It's fake laws. I mean they're making. We don't have a public health that can be envied by other countries because I mean, you interview a lot of Italian people that say, you want to live, you got to get the money out of the wallet, man.
Well, it's
That's the
like when I moved back to the US, one of my friends' wife asked me, because she didn't know about the job I do. She's like, "Would you like to come down to Pittsburgh and work for the hospital?" She goes, "I think I could get you hired there." She goes, "We need translators because they have so many people coming from Ukraine, Russia, Belarus, Moldova for heart transplants because they don't trust their hospitals." The lead singer from you what was it? Not you two. Hold on. Rolling Stones. Why do you think he came and got his heart operation done in the United States and not his country? You know? Uh, explain the process. If you want to go to a specialist, explain the process to people.
Yeah, there are some certain sectors that it's better in one country than in the other. I think a funny thing I noticed, who's the most paid cardiovascular surgeon in London? An Italian guy who's not working here in Italy. He went to England, went to London, and he became number one, the most paid. So Italians, as soon as they get out of Italy, they have success, tremendous success. That's the thing that makes me laugh. I don't know. Here you're no one, there you're number one, and we're not talking about Romania or Slovenia. We're talking about England, Great Britain. I mean,
well, socialism really slows progress. It really does, because like in Ukraine, like to work legally, there's such a long freaking. It's insane. Like you could not build what I built in the U.S. as quick as I did, ever.
yeah.
So it's, and I don't think people realize that. It's like it really slows down progress. And I have socialists that get angry at me here because they're like, well, you're a conservative. You don't know anything about socialism. I lived in a socialist country for 10 years. What are you talking about? The reason I lived well is because I lived off of capitalism.
Socialism has made damage throughout history. We can see it with communism. We can see it with China. We can see it with Russia. We can see um, even Putin is changing something, in his assets. But socialism in history has, they wanted us all the same, all equals, but all equals is in a way that we don't get our talent, our unicity out,
Well,
and you damage the country in this way. You damage it. I mean, we can have so much more. But the one thing we got to keep in mind, JL, is that uh, progress sacrifices in the name of financial interests. Chemotherapy is worth a lot of money, like $100,000 each chemo that you make, and they even Italian specialists have invented the molecule against cancer. They have other kinds of surgery that, without pain, without invasion. But what is it? I mean, no, wait a minute. It's like oil. I mean, Stan Mayer invented the motor with water, the water motor, 200 kilometers with 5 liters, 1 gallon. But he was found dead after he said no to the money. He said, I think you would just start a war
well,
with
battery.
Arabians, because you take their richness from them, you take away their money, their status quo.
Well, how many wars have been waged over oil?
Yeah, I know. I mean, if oil ends, it's another thing, Okay, we got water motor, we got electric motors, we already have them.
How many battery patents are shelved that no one can use?
Yeah. Now it's starting to come out, but as long as oil keeps being a financial resource for many countries, they won't let you get in. They won't let you go to progress. Progress can wait. I got to get the money, and you can't damage me into getting my money. So there's a danger for me that Arabia could just start a war, a commercial war against the Western world, because you took away the money from me, so I'm getting back to being poor like I was before, man. No.
Well, look at just a few months ago, Russia and Saudi Arabia were lowering the prices on the oil, and I still think Trump covered for them. I think they're trying to destroy the petrodollar, and we had to bail them out. Luckily, COVID happened and hurt them both so badly that the United States had to step in and organize the oil prices between Russia and Saudi Arabia.
I don't want to talk about oil price here in my country because we could pay oil half the price we're paying, you know, even though it's lowered down a bit, but we should pay about 50 cents of a euro a liter
Well, we got
because
the same.
we're paying old taxes of historical taxes that are they no longer exist, you know, as
Well,
institutions. So
we got a different situation
I don't know.
here. Okay, I took a 4-wheeler ride with a friend and took me back to this farm. And it looks like cornfields, but short grass, and there's oil. There's gas tanks, like
Yeah,
the old fashioned pumps that go up and down, up and down, up and down, all shut off because the previous administration had them all capped. So there's a lot of people that did not have to buy gas from 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 anyone, and they would sell it to their neighbors sometimes. And I do apologize for this. It's just David lives in Italy, so we're having to film at a different time. So I'm having to turn off my sound to try to block the tractor trailers from sound rolling across my microphone. But we're being more and more hindered, and I don't think people realize that with a socialist construction, people are not free to move around and make things happen.
yeah.
And that's the whole thing. It hinders people. It's like everyone's like, we're against slavery. What do you think socialism is?
Well, socialism finds an easy soil, you know, with this when it comes to, you know, they say capitalism. You know, with capitalism we have 1% that holds out 99% of richness worldwide. But you know, I think it's a matter of education, basically.
Yeah.
Uh, as
Well,
a networker, I propose my network activity, you know, and it's the biggest industry, you know that, you know, it's paid over 200 billions of production, and not even music and show business and football can equalize that production, you know. With the most millionaires are made out of network marketing, but most of it here, especially in Italy, you know, because they're used to having their little job, their salary, they're quite socialist, you know. There are many leftists here, and they say, no, I'm not made for this kind of activity. You know, it just comes down to talking with people, and Italians are always talking. You know, they're always moving their mouth up and down and talking and
that's Europe.
gossiping and making and promoting what they like. You know, through friends. So if you do it for free, you do it well. If you can do it for money, you're not able to do it anymore. You know, it's funny. And so it's a matter of education, financial education. Right now, they're starting to argue, you know, politicians on videos and the internet say, why don't we have financial education? Well, you know, you should ask somebody from 1903. And I said, in school, we teach all the crap, you know, but if everybody's rich, nobody's rich anymore. So rich is for us.
I found
Most of the people refuse. You know, they think money is evil. That's why we have priests that have 800 square meter attics, you know, and lounges and apartments. This money is evil. Yeah.
Golden Thrones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's a mistake people have on socialism. What happens is, like, the politicians and a few of their extreme elitist people, they become even wealthier. What it does, it takes the upper middle class and slams it down with
Yeah,
the lower middle class and the poor.
yeah. We
That's
got
all socialism does.
yeah, we got this with Robert Kiyosaki. You know, he was the first financial educator, starting with Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he said people are eluding themselves about financial justice. It's not right. The rich will become richer and the poor become poorer. The middle class is the one that's going to pay all the taxes, whatever is left of the middle class. Because since 2007, we have no more middle class. You know, I mean, we in 1998, yeah, it's 4 years before the euro appeared in Italy. I was working with a Guinness company. My wife was still a nurse. She earned half what she earns now because she returned to the Vatican State to work. And we were having we were renting a nice flat, 100 square meters, for 600,000 liers. Like it's like 300 euros a month, right?
Yeah.
But we were earning like 7-8 millions of liers a month, both of us. Most of all me, I mean. So we just had 600,000 to 8 millions. That was the rent. The rest was all for us, full cash. Right now, if you compare it to the euro currency, yeah, the rent takes out at least 40% of your salary. So you become poorer. You know, you lost about 60% of your financial hour.
Well, that's what way it was for me during this COVID thing. I lost 60-70% of my money until last week. But there's one thing, like you mentioned about network marketing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be network marketing, but having multiple sources of income is extremely important.
Yeah.
A lot of people put all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
clock in, they
yeah.
clock out.
Well, in my country, they my customers, when I say I'm in the construction business for venues. And this business leads me to right now to the bonus for constructions when you can earn a lot of money. It just comes out every time, and you just got to be fast enough, smart enough to catch on with all the new. Right now, after you, I got another webinar, and there's another project from one I'm already doing. I'm already earning money in crypto value. And my wife too saying, how many shit are you doing? How many things are you gonna do? Everything it takes. Like somebody says, everything it takes, whatever it takes to get there, you do it. You should have 5 to 7 sources of income. Because the thing to get rich is not hard work, because otherwise just a hard worker could do it.
I think
But
5 is the minimum goal.
yeah,
For
5 is the
myself right
minimum.
now, I've got one, technically 2, and I don't want to say 2 because it's still in the same field as number
Yeah.
1.
No,
And
it could be in the same field, but if it stretches out a new income, you have 2 sources anyway.
right.
It's not, but it's financial leverage that makes you rich. It's not hard work. My father used to say, if you don't get, you build the blocks to build a house, you're not working. I mean, and he was a Navy officer. I mean, he didn't do all the struggle. And anyway, it's smart work. You got to work smart, and you don't have to feel guilty about that because you're earning a lot of money working smart. That's socialist. That's uh, a leftist, a liberal point of view,
Well, the whole
and
thing is like, I think part of the things that scare people away from their own thing is when you start something, you do have to put a lot of work in the beginning. And then you can sit back and relax and let other people, carry the energy for you. And
yeah,
I
yeah.
think a lot of youth is afraid. I can't say youth because I know people my age are the same way.
Well, Jail, what the four columns of poverty are debt, inflation, taxes, and retirement plan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you come to Italy once, you'll be my guest, and I'll translate it for you. And all the people that you can meet, they were, at 25 years old, they started work. They're already thinking about their retirement plan, so they don't live their current moment of life. I said,
Right.
you know what, retirement. I'm 56. My father retired at 56 after 30 years of Navy, and that killed him. And he said, yeah. When I told him, he said, you're right. retirement has killed me. I needed to stay active. I want to work. I want to work. I mean, I want to be an investor, an entrepreneur till my last day of life. That what keeps you alive. This is what socialists want to understand. You got to be productive. You got to make things grow. It's not being, I mean, if you stop just to your stuff, you're selfish because you could give jobs to people just because you have the ambition to build something, to build an empire. But you give
Right.
jobs. So that guy has a job because I was not selfish. I chose network marketing, and now people have a new life, and they're not killing themselves because a lot of people right now are committing suicide for taxes. Are you mad? Are
How
you
much is your
nuts?
taxes? What
Well,
percentage?
officially, yeah, I was thinking about talking about this, with you. Officially, we got 50% for employees. We got 70% officially, but I think it reaches out even to 90%. And then we got, network marketing. Network marketing, you pay 17.5% from the region, you get tax-free your money on your account. Any money you can earn, you can earn from 100 to 1 million, you pay 17% in taxes legally with it's 173 2005 law. So it's legal, and people are still waiting, they're hesitating. They say, should I do network marketing? Of course you should do it, you idiot. You are promoting stuff since you were born. Do it for a living. Do it for a living. 99% of products or services in network marketing are extremely good services and products because their promotion is by the customers. So if the products ain't good, the company shuts down soon. So that product is good. That service is good. That it's convenient to you. You can earn on it. You can pass it to your sons. You can leave something to your sons because there's the you can leave it to them, legally, and you're still clinging to the past of a job that doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
I mean, how stupid do you have to be? How stupid those people have
We
to be?
ran into the issue for my generation. They were having us go in for, in the university for jobs that all went to China. So now you got these guys with 100,000 or more debt in university, and their job got shipped overseas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The university debt is a big issue right now. Yeah, it's a big issue. And you know what? Once you got a degree, a college degree, you say, I got a job, I got a secure job on that. But that's what university does, college does. What they do is they create employees. We need entrepreneurs. We need new ideas. We need new jobs,
We
new
need
fields,
free thinkers.
free thinkers, free thinkers.
Well, that's a problem. When kids get into school and they get pinned down into a certain way. And you and I were discussing a situation with David. Do you mind if I introduce that real quick as an example? Okay, so my son speaks Russian, Ukrainian, because he was born in Kharkovskaya Oblast, Ukraine. He was born in Kharkov, Ukraine. And long story short, I speak Russian, some Ukrainian. And because my son has found Amish kids and he likes the Amish kids, he has asked Daddy to teach him German. So Daddy's going on YouTube and learning German. And when he runs across the Amish in a dollar store or something, then he practices what Daddy taught him. Well, one person in the community made a decision, and this is a person I paid money to, that her and her husband believed that David couldn't speak English because it wasn't possible. And when I corrected her on this, and before I even corrected her on this, she's like, well, such and such, I'm not going to say the little girl's name. She speaks German because her her family used to be Amish. So I could already tell in her mind, you shouldn't be able to speak this language unless you're Amish. Well, I think differently. These are my neighbors, and they're actually very intelligent people. I want to be able to converse with them and have a relationship. So if my son wants me to learn German to help him learn it, okay. And so I pulled the person aside and I was being nice about it. I was like, listen, I was like, I know you don't know what it's like to raise a European child because, listen, it's common in Europe, and you know this,
Yeah,
to speak multiple languages. Where in the United States, it's like you should only speak English, and then most of them don't even speak English correctly. And she got so angry about it, and she actually she she actually caught herself saying two statements that completely went against each other. I was like, well, that's a cognitive dissonance response. And she's like, I didn't finish my psychology degree. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? And I think the problem we have is people, they're programmed that you can only do so much. And in schools, they're cutting the
yeah,
kids' creativity.
yeah, yeah,
And really, you and I both know, you teach children languages, it's better because their minds are soft wired. About 12, 13 years old, we become hardwired, and it's harder, you
yeah,
know? And I think that's part of the problem because that does not just apply to languages. Why are you not teaching your kids about your business? Why are you not bringing, and I think we really need to change the entire education system around the world. Parents should be mentoring their children as well as parenting.
yeah. We should introduce, not teach, because nobody teaches anybody, but everybody learns from people. Prejudice, racism, hate, love, you learn it. You're not born with it.
Well,
So
you said to learn from people, and that's a thing. I'm sorry, don't mean to be talking over you. That's a thing I've noticed since I've come back home because when I was in Ukraine, I would sit and have coffee, not just my English students, but friends I made along the way.
yeah,
And we would talk about their life or what they do for work. And I learned from them. And
yeah,
these people are incapable because they have they have like tunnel vision. What they believe, that's it. That's all that can exist. That little reality. And and it's because I've moved, it's not all of America. I just moved into a very small town. But I do believe when I'm watching Twitter and Facebook and stuff, there's very many people you can tell are that way by looking at their political posts.
yeah.
Everything's not black and white. There's many, many, many shades of gray.
Yeah, people are mind closed into their schemes, into their own environment as a defense, self-defense, and they think that this will protect them, but it's just the opposite. It will expose you. It exposes you more to all the dangers that an unprepared mind can meet. We gotta introduce to our sons, to the new generations, the extra mile. And I felt real quite good when my older son is 23 right now, and he's ambitious, and he's studying economical finances, for university online, and he spent money, his own money. He worked for being a professional trader. Now he's ready, and he's coming with me. We're gonna make maybe a company together in London, or I don't know where. And but he told me one thing. I wouldn't change you with any other father. Because what you basically, your message was, you are limitless. Don't
Right.
put limits to what you can do. You can do a lot of things. I've been an example for them, even physically, because I always been, from since I was 8 years old, I was a fan of fitness and martial arts and bodybuilding. I like sports, whatever, swimming and all that. At 56, I can make push-ups with one arm, and we had a gym here. I have a gym here and a punching bag, professional weights, and all that stuff. And every now and then he tries to overcome me, physically, but I just slam him down and say, "You got to eat some more cheeseburgers." And but it's not showing off. It's just proving, concretely to your sons, to your family, you can do anything. If I can still make 100 push-ups at my age, if I can lift weights, I can do boxing, and I don't have a heart attack, you can do extremely well
Is,
and better,
isn't
much
it
better than me.
sad that like I'm about 42. You go out and you
Yeah,
play sport, and I'm a little bit heavy set right now because I'm not taking care of myself the way I used to. Isn't it sad when you go out and you play sports with 20 and 25-year-olds and they're just out? It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
holy
No,
crap.
I
If you were
noticed that.
playing,
I noticed that.
I wasn't even a great athlete at 20. I was just a musician. But if these guys were playing with me as a 20-year-old, they'd been torn up. And compared to other guys, I was like not at the top. I was down here. I was in the middle. But these new kids, it's these younger kids are just so lazy.
Yeah, they're fragile. They're fragile.
Don't hurt my feelings, please. I
Yeah,
need my
yeah.
safe space.
Because they've been overprotected. Me and you were another generation where we had to fight our ass off to get on the line. And now these kids are overprotected. Whatever you want, you got it. Here's the money. Right now, this crisis, economic crisis, maybe it's a good thing, since it just gives them a stop to it.
Well, my
And
my my first job, just because everyone's like, well, he's always had a desk job. My first job was stacking roof trusses down in Parker, Pennsylvania, and then my shortly after that, I was stacking lumber in the mountains of Pennsylvania. You
yeah,
know,
that's good, man.
and I had a guy, and this is the thing about being able to learn. I had a guy from Connecticut, one of the owners of a company, came down and asked me about a problem with some wood we ran down the line like a week before because it got wet, got water damage.
Yeah,
And I was like, well, go ask my supervisor because I just got yelled at my supervisor because, no one can speak to the bosses except for him. And he's like, no, the grader said he's an idiot. Where to ask you because you were down here and you saw it in person. Because the grader standing up above it, but I'm standing at a lower level. I can see parts of wood the grader can't see.
yeah,
I explained to him, yeah, you can plane it out. I remember looking, this guy had like a $3,000, I'm guessing like a $3,000 ring. And I'm paying attention. He's like, listen, he goes, you're not like these guys. He goes, go to university, get out of here, move to a city.
yeah,
You know what? I put up on the wall with my crayon for marking the wood. You mark it if it's a half-inch shorter than what
yeah,
the other ones are. So you can tally how much board fitted foot you have there. I wrote
yeah,
6 months. And everyone made a joke about it because I said, I'm out of here in 6 months. I'm moving to California. Well, I was gone in 6 months. I was in Los Angeles, California, getting off the plane and restarting my life.
yeah. Somebody asked you, how did you do that? I wanted it. I chose it.
We came, it was about 11 months ago, 2 overhead bags, and no credit score because I was in Eastern Europe for 10 years. So my credit score is 0. And now I'm sitting with good credit. I've got all this, and I hear people that's lived in this town their entire lives and they've never went anywhere. They've always had their parents help.
Yeah,
They're sleeping on their mom and dad's couch or still in the same bedroom they were raised in. And I'm thinking of a couple different individuals right now, and they're like, you don't understand, it's so hard. It's like, dude, I've had to restart several times because I've decided this last situation was an emergency situation for my son's sake. And long story short, there's been a lot of times where I've been like, I've reached a pinnacle. I can't go any higher. I'm done. There's nothing I can do, and I can't live that way. I'd rather just strip it down, restart, and go fresh.
yeah,
And a lot of people can't do that.
yeah, yeah. The worst thing is that can happen to people is they get stuck with the old job, with the old issues, and like they get to the comfort zone, right? So I did this all my life, so now can you? I got customers have a bar, and they're spending more money that they're coming in, you know, and then they joke on me. I said, "What's your job?" I don't know. So what's your job? I said, "I don't say that nasty word, job. What's a job? I don't want a job. I want business. I do business. What's your job? You spend 100 and you get 50 back. Well, you're going bankrupt, man.
Right.
They don't take it so good. Why you say? I'm saying the truth, man. This bar right now, as it is from the post-COVID stuff, it's not Plan A. It's your Plan B. You got to get a new Plan A and start writing it. And if everything goes wrong, you get back to Plan B. That's your old bar, job, the barman. But it's not your Plan A. That's the way I see it. And I offer them many stuff in networking and affiliate marketing. No, I'm not doing a shit for now. I'm not doing nothing for now. If you don't do nothing, nothing you get.
Right.
So to you, and they're you can feel they're envious, because they say, I work my ass off and you just get the money like that. Man, it's a matter of choice. Being poor is a choice. It's a lifestyle. You choose your lifestyle.
Don't get me wrong. There's times when bad luck happens, but you have to dig down and dig yourself back out.
Yeah, you got to reinvent yourself. You got to know that when you have to know when it's time to let go. One thing my dad was saying many years ago, there's one thing I envy you is your persistency. You never give up. You never give up. I would have given up, years ago.
I still remember my grandfather. He was a World War II veteran, prisoner of war. He was a gunman in the Flying Fortresses. He was in a German prison camp for 6 months. But I remember him telling me when I had to be like 13 or 14 years old, maybe. It was like, Speedy. That was a short form. He always called me Speedy Gonzalez because I was always running around his house. And he was like, I want you to figure out how to make money better than your father and I. He goes, don't do the same thing we do. Because they were both into strip mining and running heavy equipment.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of people, I think it's a social programming. It's like, listen, from whether it's in the ghettos or the back country, it's like, you can't do any more than this because I couldn't.
Yeah. It's a curse.
So they're putting shackles on people that they had put on themselves and somebody else probably put on them.
Yeah. It's a witch curse, you're damned to stick here, man. You can't move it. Oh, come on.
All right, David. So I'm going to wrap this up. But next time, let's do this earlier your time, because that way I won't have tractor trailers rolling past my house. My microphone is just so hot until I get better sound insulation.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So next time we'll do early in the morning for you, and I'll wake up really early at night to your interview.
What time?
I don't know. We'll do like 8 or 9 o'clock your time next time.
8 or 9 o'clock. Well, look, I'm awake at 6, 7.
Okay, that's easier for me. I can
you
do it right before I go to bed.
About 4 a.m. I thought you were talking about 4 a.m. That wouldn't be a problem anyway.
So, anyways, David, you have a great day. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure speaking with you. Just get, and when you put your ideas, you put them out with another person, what it does to you? It enforces the effect on yourself.
Well, I think that's a part of a problem. So many people like, I'm going to use this town because this town should be studied. It really should. There could be a lot of interesting articles that come out about this little town. But when you keep to a local and you're only speaking to each other, then you're fueling into it's like children that are still in 8th or 9th grade, and they're fueling into each other's little false ideas. Like they've made up a story, like this one guy claimed he could speak a language, but he didn't know what language because the person that was teaching him didn't tell him. Like that sort of thing. Then, everyone else is like, oh yeah, it's true. And I think you need, like, you and I and other people, like, we speak to people from different countries. How many times, I think you and we've had, like, in the last month, we've had 4 conversations. David speaks to David, my son, sometimes. And I think that's a problem we have in our world. We have a lack of communication of people outside our tiny little circles.
Yeah, you're not growing. You're not growing. If you're not growing, you're dying.
Well, that's the best Robert Kiyosaki take you can take on
No,
anything.
uh, I think it's true. Mistake I made myself. I went up to earning some money, then I just stuck there, stopped there. That was my mistake, because I'm in the idiot consistency of thinking. Maybe I'm getting too selfish, too greedy. Too greedy. It's not greed. It's ambition. It's willing to grow. It's good for you, and it's good for the people that surrounds you if you want to grow, because if you're growing, makes them grow, enriches them, you enrich yourself. There's no, I mean, our brain, we use so little of our brain, of our abilities. We got to stretch out to the
Absolutely.
people, to the people, to our new chances of new possibilities, new people, new jobs, new opportunities. And say, but I don't. I gotta. No, you can't, because time goes on. The past is just past, and so you gotta keep on creating a new every time. You
Right.
can't stop. You can't stop. That's bullshit. That's insanity. Like people that want different results doing the same thing.
That is the definition of insanity.
Einstein say, you're crazy, man. You're nuts. You got to do different things if you want different results. So we gotta uh, be ourselves first. Portrayers of changes, of growing, of richness. Being rich is not a sin. Being rich, if you are rich, you can give to others. If you are poor, you're selfish. You don't have nothing to give other people. So don't listen to priests and church and all this stuff. God wants you to be the richest possible, because the richer you are, the more
The
you
more
can give
generous
to
you can
others.
be.
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right, David. So sadly, I got to get back to my day job,
Okay.
and you have a great evening. It's about 3 o'clock David's time right now in the afternoon, just so you guys understand, 9 o'clock my time. And there's times when we have to coordinate. And I have friends in Japan, Russia. He's the same thing. He has friends in different countries, and you all that are watching this, Facebook is a beautiful thing if you use it correctly. Make friends, find mentors in things that you want to learn, and communicate with them. Our parents didn't have this option.
Most of all, JL, we have to face yourself, confront yourself with other people, because most of the time, if you're shut down in yourself, you think, I'm the only one who has these issues, these problems. I'm a bad person, or I'm unlucky. And once you get to speak with people, you see that all people have problems like you, have issues like you, have good times or bad times.
And
So
have
maybe
far worse issues than you.
you're not alone anymore in this thing. You get strength from that. So it's vital to open up your mind to other people and listen,
And you really
listen.
learn that people in other countries, like some of the cultural things are a little bit different, but our basic humanity, the way we think, that the issues we go through are exactly the same.
Well, the people you meet in this town that are closed up minded, to
Well, I
people.
grew up here. The difference was I left.
They can't stand difference, but if you and me were just the same person, we couldn't learn nothing from each other. We
No,
need diversity. We need diversity so we can, if you and I have a dollar, and we exchange a dollar, we still have a dollar. If we got two different ideas, we get two ideas from each other. So we don't have no more one idea. We got two.
right.
All right. That's the thing. So people who just are afraid, they can't bear diversity, say no, because oh, I don't think he can. I mean, you're not anybody who can say to a kid, you can't learn to speak German. Who are you? Who are you, man? Don't
You
take
can't
this
teach a child and
responsibility.
magically dream up that the kid can't speak English while he's running around town speaking to everyone in English. And
I don't give advices and I don't judge anybody. Most of all that, because it's a big responsibility to say to a person, you can't do this. Who the hell are you?
well, I think part of it is that Dave is outshining some people or some children. And it's, you see a 4-year-old is one thing when they thought he spoke 2 languages, but when they realized he speaks 3 languages, because we don't talk about the Ukrainian often. Um, and now he's learning a 4th, and he's not even 5 yet. And he's doing, and his pronunciation is dead on because he was born in Ukraine, and that's, that like Eastern European and like German and those other Germany and those other countries, those accents are pretty similar. So for David, he's
Anyway,
like, oh,
German people speak double language English. Since they're born, they speak English. So
well,
that ain't a
English is a Germanic language. It came
English.
from the German language.
Yeah, but I had a lot of German friends. They all speak English. Every one of them speaks English. Everyone.
Well,
So
that's a thing in the U.S. Like we start taking Spanish or something in like high school, like 10th grade, already too late.
yeah, yeah. Already too late. Yeah, yeah.
Like they'll learn enough to pass, the tests, but if you sit there and you try to speak with them in the language, they can't do it.
Now, speaking languages is important. I mean, you can learn a lot of things. You can communicate. You can, um, how do you say, evolve your mind on different mentalities, on different customs. And anyway, you understand people just furthermore than normal people, because this country is different. This country is different. We have different cultures, so you mix them up and you get richer inside as a person. And when you get to dealing in business, you have some more than the others, because
That's right. Because
you understand.
I was just speaking with a customs broker the other day that was asking me, like, hey, you speak Russian, right? I'm like, yes. If I need you to, can you translate for me? Absolutely.
How much?
Не скажу. I'm not going to say. But he's long story short, he's working on a deal for some stuff that's going to be going to Russia. And he needs someone that can speak to it. And the one thing I explained to him is like, hey, you have to understand about corruption in Russia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like, I got this. He goes, and I told him, it's like, if you go to someone that graduated from Russian in school, they're not going to know how to deal with the Russians because I lived over there for 10 years. I get their mentality. I understand what's going on. And I already know the corruption and the problems you're going to face going into this deal.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
like, you're better off with me because, like, no сколько ti нужно сегодня? It's like, how much do you need today to make this happen? Because that's really the police in Ukraine, same way. They stop you. You haven't done anything wrong. And they're going to respond, when it's rather you're going to pay an extremely high amount if they take you to the jail, or you can negotiate it out on the street. And I know people are like, that's illegal. Um, you're not in the United States. And so a lot of times it's like, свой штраф будет сколько ей нужно сегодня. Your fine's going to be how much I need today, is a saying that the Ukrainian and the Russian police say.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's like me if I get to meet the president of the American Gas and Power. One thing is an Italian guy who speaks English, it's school English, and once it's me, I lived in America, I know how American guys are, mentality and all that. And he gets to feel like home with me, right? Because I speak American, I don't speak English, school English, that just like that.
Well, I'll
It's
give you I'll give you
beautiful.
one more example before we got to go. But it's Monday. Work is usually slow on Mondays for me. I was in Kharkov, and there's a guy. He was a Mormon American kid, and they paired him up with a Ukrainian guy.
Mm,
And the Mormons really teach Russian really quickly to their people when they come into Ukraine, and they're there for 2 years. Well, one of my neighbors, and I was living right outside of Kharkov, and a pretty rough area, to be honest with you. But they spoke Sergic, which is a mixture of Russian and Ukrainian. Well, one of my neighbors came up, and he actually can speak a little bit of English, just a little bit. He came up, he said hello to the American guy, and he wanted to talk with me, about local politics, just in
yeah,
town stuff. And so he and I are talking about some stuff that's going on, and then we're talking about a rock concert we both want to go to because a big Russian band is flying into Ukraine. Um, and the kid is freaking out because he can't understand what we're saying. And he asks the Ukrainian guys like, "Well, they're speaking in Sergic, and they're swearing a lot. You come at me as a salesperson, I adapt. I'm switching the way I speak with you is the way you spoke to me, you know." And
mm,
the kid came up to me, he's like, "That's wrong. That's not a real language." I'm like, "What do you mean it's wrong? It's not a real language?" She's like, I'm like,
I
"Just because
would.
you don't understand how to make it work doesn't mean it's a wrong language." She goes, "And you're swearing." I'm like, "That's the way he spoke to me. So that's the way he speaks to me. So that's the way I speak to him." I go, "It makes him feel more comfortable. It makes him feel like he has a connection with me."
Yeah,
Because in
it's a
my everyday
mirror.
life,
It's a
I don't
mirroring.
swear.
It's a mirroring.
Yeah.
You just do some mirroring.
And I think as a salesperson, you have to be able to adapt because you have to
Yeah,
find a connection with that person. And
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
being fake. You have to take the step in their direction to say, "You know what? I like you enough and I want to work with you to let me
yeah,
come a little bit more in your direction
yeah,
and, you know, let's hash this out."
yeah. It's at the base of communication. The more I'm like you, the more you like me. So you get open up, and you know we can just talk about our goals or common things. It's communication basis.
Right.
But people don't when they don't understand, they condemn it.
That's
Yeah, I
absolutely right.
don't get it, so it's not good. It's bad.
So, David, I'm
Okay.
going to bounce off here. You have a beautiful day, and we'll have to do this again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Later, David.
Stay.